Welcome back to the Life of Gautama Buddha video series, episode 27, which brings us to the memorable moments in the Buddha's preaching journey. We have witnessed the firm establishment of the positions of the two chief disciples, Sariputta and Moggallana, in the Sangha, as well as the completion of the great bamboo grove monastery, Vayuvanarama. The Buddha skillfully explained the origins and roles of the two chief disciples, dispelling all doubts in the hearts of the Sangha. He also showed strategic vision in developing the Sangha, encouraging diversity and talent from many social classes. The inauguration of Truk Lam Monastery attracted the attention of all social classes, from kings to commoners. This was an important milestone, demonstrating the community's strong support for the Buddha's teachings. The talent and wisdom of Venerable Sariputta were clearly demonstrated through his excellent sermons, which delighted both the monks and lay people. This once again affirmed the Buddha's wise choice in choosing outstanding disciples. As we move into episode 28, we will continue to follow the Buddha's journey of spreading the Dharma, with new challenges and valuable lessons about his boundless wisdom and compassion. The Life of Gautama Buddha, Volume 28, Mahakassapa, the third great disciple of the Buddha. The next day, the Buddha quietly took his alms bowl and left, without saying where he was going or informing anyone. The actions of the fully enlightened one always have causes and conditions. No one questions them. It turned out that after the Buddha finished his alms round, he walked more than half a yojana to a village on the outskirts, sat down to eat under the Bahuputaka tree by the roadside, waiting for the right conditions to accept another great disciple, Venerable Mahakassapa. Not far from where the Buddha sat, across the small river, there was the prosperous village of Mahatitha, where the extremely wealthy Brahmin Kapila lived. It was rumored that his wealth, gold and jewels were greater than that of the king of a small country. The Brahmin Kapila had only one son. According to legend, when he was giving birth, his mother sat under the great Pipali tree, so she named her son after the tree, Pipali. In addition, he also had another common name, Mahakassapa. Like many other great personalities, Pipali had many noble features: the beauty of a great man, intelligence, virtue, and outstanding qualities and personality. When he reached youth, his knowledge and learning were similar to Sariputta and Moggallana, meaning he had all the abilities of a Brahmin intellectual of the time. He could become a teacher, a high-ranking official, or a royal advisor. That was the family's wish. Pipali had a quiet inner life. He especially did not like singing, dancing, music, wine, etc., and always tried to stay away from singers and beauties. When his parents forced him to get married, he refused, terrified like a leech on lime. Although he firmly refused, seeing that it was difficult to change his parents' intentions, Pipali came up with a plan. He hired a famous sculptor to carve a statue of a beautiful woman out of gold, like a real person, and said, "If there really is someone in the world as beautiful as this, exactly like this, then she is worthy of marrying me." Thinking that their parents were discouraged, they unexpectedly ordered a large palanquin, like a small temple, to be placed on top of a beautiful woman, covered with blinds, with 4 wheels, and hired people to move it from village to village. Beside it were always 4 learned, elderly, handsome Brahmins, with a virtuous appearance. Whenever the carriage stopped at a reasonable place, with a prosperous town or village, with white rice, clear water, or with beautiful and rare flowers, the Brahmins would announce, "Here is the goddess! Here is the goddess descending to earth! All the young ladies and beautiful princesses, come and admire her. Just respectfully offer flowers, incense, and offerings, and your wishes will come true." Then the blinds were lifted, revealing a golden statue of the goddess with a beautiful, radiant appearance. 1 told 2, 2 told 4, 4 told 8, and it was like a festival of beauties from all over the place. 4 Brahmins guarded the 4 corners, intently searching for a beautiful girl, exactly like a goddess, among the beautiful women and servants who came to pay their respects. How strange, how strange! There was a beautiful girl, exactly like her. Her name was Badakapilani, 16 years old, daughter of the millionaire Brahmin Kosiya of the town of Sagala in the Mata region. Actually, Badakapilani did not want to go see, but her friends said that the statue of the goddess was as if cast from her, so she became curious. When the four Brahmins saw Bhattacapilani, they were also surprised, stunned. How could God arrange such wonderful encounters? Pipali could no longer refuse. The marriage was soon arranged. Neither of them lived happily together. On the wedding night, he was in one corner, she was in another. Neither of them spoke to each other. The following nights were the same. Pipali observed that Bhattacapilani seemed even more depressed and sad than he. Surprised, he asked, "Why do you seem so angry with me? I didn't do anything to you." Bhattacapilani replied softly and gently, "I sincerely apologize to you. Actually, I have nothing to be angry with you for. I am angry because of my own cruel fate. Since I grew up as a woman, I have not liked the life of the 5 desires, and even less so, I do not like getting married. My wish is to live a life of celibacy, and yet. Having said this, Bhattacapilani broke down in tears. It turned out that both of them had the same wish. Pipali was so happy. Then he confided in her. Finally, the two of them made a commitment, an agreement, to live together as friends. As time passed, the couple took turns taking care of everything inside and out because their parents were getting old and weak. They had a lot of free time, so they studied philosophy, practiced yoga, and discussed with each other the difficult points of religious ideas. They lived together like a bowl full of water, pure as a conch shell. So after 12 years of keeping the vow, when her parents passed away, Pipali discussed with Bhattacapilani a plan of action. Before leaving home, he should give away all his jewels, wealth, and possessions. He would wander in search of the Dharma and learn from all the religious leaders and true teachers in the world. As for her, she should temporarily go and leave home with the Nigantatsu nuns. When she finds the path to immortality, she will inform her later. After 3 long months of giving alms and giving up all the wealth they had accumulated over many lifetimes, the couple felt light and cheerful. He prepared the 8 necessities of a wandering ascetic: 3 robes, a bowl, a belt, a razor, a needle and thread, and a water filter. She prepared the same. On a beautiful day, she cut off her youthful hair, he cleaned his beard and hair, 3 robes and a bowl, and set off. At the village entrance, the two parted ways. Going in 2 directions, she went south to seek the Nichienzi sect. He went north, wandering through many countries. That year he was 32 years old. The very day the two left, the Buddha was sitting under the Bodhi-ruka tree. So after just over a year of languishing, without finding a true teacher, without finding the ultimate answer, Pipali turned back to her hometown and heard the news. A Samyak Sambuddha had been born and was establishing a religion in the bamboo grove donated by King Senya Bimbisara. At present, this capital was in the throes of a religion without gods, saying that each person is a lamp unto himself, can be enlightened, liberated for himself without needing the power of any god. Thousands of monks of that new religion outside of tradition were like light, graceful golden clouds filling everywhere, in every space, geographically and spiritually. Pipali, that is, Mahakassapa, was moved to the core. The rumor was so in accord with his thoughts, so familiar with the images of his holy dreams. Standing silently beside the old house, closing his eyes, silently reciting the grace of his parents, Mahakassapa then turned around, followed the boat across the small river, with the thought of going to the bamboo grove. But after only a short distance, he met the world-honored one. Yes, although he had not yet had the chance to meet the world-honored one, Mahakassapa saw an extraordinary monk with 32 noble features and 80 beautiful features, sitting calmly under the Bahuputaka tree, his appearance radiant, his halo shining, and he knew that was him and no one else. With a very natural attitude of reverence, Mahakassapa knelt down, paid homage, and said, "Venerable Sir, the Venerable Sir is my teacher. I am your disciple. Satmi Bante Savako Masmi. Mahakassapa! Sit down here, and the Tathagata will give you a treasure of the Dharma." Mahakassapa saw the world-honored one sitting on the flat grass, so he took his outer robe, 2-layered robe, and folded it into 4, invited him to sit down, and then respectfully knelt to one side. Buddhist teachings. Mahakassapa, you come from a very wealthy family, and you were born into a noble Brahmin clan, Brahmajati, so you are easily conceited about your birth, conceited about your lineage, Jatamana. In the Tathagata's church, All four castes are equal, just as rivers dissolve into the ocean. Here, respect does not depend on caste but on seniority. In the future, the church will have great virtues, middle virtues, and junior virtues. You must know this to treat them properly. Mahakassapa, you have acquired a great deal of learning and knowledge since your youth, so it is easy for you to develop arrogance about your views, jnanaditthimana. So you must listen attentively to the teachings, remember the teachings, practice the teachings, and respect the teachings in order to hope to attain the ultimate benefits. Mahakassapa, you have the noble features and beauty of a great man, so it is easy to develop attachment to the physical body, pride in the physical body, and arrogance about the physical body, kayamana. Therefore, you should practice the subject of mindfulness of the body, kaya gadasati, especially to clearly see its impurities and impurities, asubha. Then you should also practice the subject of breathing, anapanasati, to attain the necessary concentration. Contemplate the body, feelings, mind, and phenomena to clearly see their true nature of impermanence, non-self, and dukkha, to attain the eye of wisdom, knowledge, insight, and wisdom, completely solving the problem of birth and death, liberating yourself from all sorrow, lamentation, suffering, and distress in life. After the Buddha had taught the three things about conceit, the wanderer Mahakassapa became a bhikkhu. This was the ordination called ordination by instruction, Ovadapatigahan Upasampada, which was unique in the master's order. As a person with complete wisdom and virtue, upon hearing this, Mahakassapa immediately understood. He embraced the dusty feet of the world-honored one, extremely moved. Buddha suddenly smiled and said, "His outer garment, I don't know what material it is made of, but it is so soft, cool, warm, and smooth." Mahakassapa was wise. He understood that the Blessed One was gently and subtly reprimanding him for using sangati made of extremely fine silk, which was not suitable for novice monks who were practicing with the subject of mindfulness of the body. So he offered that expensive sangati to the Buddha, who had eradicated all defilements, in exchange for his ordinary sangati. The Buddha compassionately taught the four teachings. Mahakassapa, you have completely understood the meaning of the Tathagata. Your shining conduct in this teaching is that of a holy person who is celibate and ascetic, but be careful not to fall into extremes. 7 days later, a few days before the rainy season retreat, due to his enthusiasm and diligent practice, Mahakassapa attained the fruit of arahantship, with both analytical wisdom and supernatural powers. It was truly a rare achievement of an outstanding figure. So the other day, in front of all the venerable elders and several thousand bhikkhus, the Buddha respectfully introduced Mahakassapa. Here is a bhikkhu who is also born from the mouth of the Tathagata, from the teachings of the Tathagata, an excellent disciple, a noble disciple. Mahakassapa will be the foremost bhikkhu in asceticism and will also teach people about a life of contentment and few desires. Etadagam bhikkhave mama savakanam bhikkhunam dudavadanam yadidam Mahakassapo. The Buddha's declaration thus confirmed the preeminent position of Mahakassapa as the foremost ascetic in the Sangha and the masses. When hearing the story of the rare couple who had lived together for 12 years in a pure vow and then easily gave up their huge fortune, the congregation kept chattering, not knowing what the cause or fate was from their previous lives. The Buddha had to lift the curtain of the past, telling the congregation that they had practiced for a long time, had practiced the 10 paramitas, although not as much as Sariputta and Moggallana, but had also experienced many Samyak Sambuddhas. In particular, in one life, Mahakassapa was king, named Nandaraga, Bhattacapalani was queen. Both had pure faith in the good dharma. At the time when there was no fully enlightened Buddha, the king and queen provided the 4 requisites for 500 Pratyeka Buddhas, with joy and satisfaction until they entered nirvana, with the vow of immortality. In that life, after passing the throne to the prince, both of them put on the robes of Taoists and went to Tuyet Sun to live a life of solitary asceticism. At the time of death, they attained samadhi and were reborn in the Brahma heaven. The reason why both of them hated the 5 desires was because they had just been born in the Brahma heaven. Their minds were bored, and they were far from the pleasures of the samadhi and form world, which still had a strong influence on this life. As for the story of the golden statue of the goddess, and meeting a beautiful woman who looked exactly like her, wise people would understand that. They had been husband and wife for many lifetimes, and had created paramitas together for many lifetimes, so the image and appearance of the beautiful, virtuous wife was always clearly present in the mind of the young man Pipali. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you have just listened to the video about the life of Buddha Shakyamuni, adapted from the work A Life, a Sun and Moon by Master Geoy Duck. This video series will be broadcast at 7 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the YouTube channel Buddhist Story. We sincerely thank you for watching. To not miss the next episodes, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. If you find the content useful, please share this video with your relatives and friends. All your comments are very valuable to us. Please leave comments below the video so we can discuss and share together. Thank you, and see you again in the next episodes of the video series, The Life of Buddha Shakyamuni.